Hey, what's happening, my YouTube friends and family? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome aboard to the new subscribers. I appreciate you guys. Anyway, been a while since I've made a video, and primarily it's been because I think I shared on one of my latest videos, Amazon kind of changed the format a little bit again, and it just made it difficult for me to show you guys real examples of what's there on the market. And so with that being said, I felt like any video I would make was not a fair representation of what's really in any given market. They basically moved a whole bunch of loads over to the post truck side. And honestly, I think Amazon is doing that on purpose so that carriers don't sit and wait and watch loads go up in price and then book them at the last minute. So what they've done is they moved a whole bunch of loads out of the regular load board, and when you post your truck, then they assign you a load that otherwise would have gone up to maybe $5 a mile. And because you put on post a truck that you're willing to do work for $3 a mile, you get that load much cheaper, and it saves Amazon money. The problem with this, for me, at least for me trying to share information with you guys, is unless I actually enter a vehicle to do a post a truck, I can't show you what's there. And even then, you really can't see the whole gamut of what's there. All you can really see is what you get. In other words, what you're awarded. And so the biggest frustration I have with some YouTubers is I believe some are selling you advertising by saying the things you want to hear, by leading you to believe that, that it's great, that, they're taking wheelbarrows full of money to the bank every week. And, while I'm not going to argue that some have had measured success and they've done really well, my concern is for some people to go out and buy themselves a box truck. In some cases, you see it on Facebook and even on other YouTube channels. Some people borrow from their parents' retirement, or they take out a second loan on their home, or they really do commit deeply into making this thing go. And in some cases, they're kind of jumping into the pool head first, but they don't know how deep the water is. And that's kind of the nature of some of my comments. I had someone put a comment on one of my videos that, I was a hater. I don't hate on anyone that's trying to better themselves in an honest way. If you're gonna try and go get your grind on and hustle to earn money legitimately and honestly, I tip my hat and I have nothing but love and respect. At the same time, I hate to see people lose everything or a substantial amount of money because they weren't properly informed. And so, no, my videos aren't about trying to be some sort of hater. And to that individual, if you're jumping in without looking first because, you're seeing some other YouTuber, posting that everything's great and hunky-dory, understand that the other YouTuber might be on a totally different level than a brand new startup. There's a couple guys that have contracts and they've been in the market for a while, and they basically get assigned routes. And so they're not sitting there wondering, is my truck going to have work tomorrow? They've got steady work, and it takes time to build up to that. Anyway, The flip side of that comment is if you wanted to say, well, what's Amazon like? This is probably the time to get in. So the first thing I kind of want to show here is I just opened up the load board, and you see how it goes directly to post a truck? This is what they want you to do, okay? This is where they want you to do your work. And it's for the reason that I just stated earlier. They don't want carriers sitting, waiting to the last minute to book loads because they're going to go up. They would prefer you to post your truck and say, I'm willing to work tomorrow from this time to that time, and this is the pay I want. And in many cases, that ends up being cheaper for them than, when I would sit around and wait for a load to go from Memphis to Dallas or from Dallas to Memphis, because I knew when they first posted, they'd post it for $900, but 5 hours before load time, it became an $1,800 load. I managed to actually get one for $2,600, and it's about 490 miles. Anyway, so if we go to search, this is what's, the regular load board, as I call it. It kind of defaults to what it thinks I would want to look at. So let's do, just to kind of show you guys, it does look a little better. Why is it only showing 500? Let's remove the blocks. Let's go anywhere to anywhere. That should show a lot more loads. Okay, so this is more typical of what we would see, this time last year. Just a month or two ago, that number was minuscule. There was like almost nothing to look at. And some of you are going to say, hey, cool, well, show me this market, show me that market, show me the other market. It's still not, in some markets, great. I'm selecting this because that's where I typically would book my own loads. And 227 is very minimal. That's not a whole lot of load. But, the rates are looking decent in some ways. This one's actually a reefer load. That's kind of a newer thing. 2 years ago, this didn't exist with Amazon, but Amazon is doing outside brokering. They're doing a lot of stuff that most people don't know. But anyway, so for some reason, on a lot of these loads, this book button is not highlighted. And to be honest, I don't know what that difference is or what it's about. And so I'm not going to try and pretend and give you some misinformation. If a viewer knows what that is, I'm going to assume, since it says food certificate required, it may be possible that there's another certificate that needs to be submitted by us, and then it would kind of unlock that, I assume. And they're just kind of dangling it out there as a teaser so I can see it's there. Anyway, so, here's a 60-mile load, trailer required, $10 a mile. It's going to take you a whole day to make $630. There's a 4-mile load for $72, trailer required. It's going to take you, 6 hours to do 321. There's $450 a mile, It's a team load, and it's not very far. I think they assume, or they know, they're going to hold you up. Anyway, so as you can see, there are some better loads here, and actually there's more loads. There are loads here that did not exist just 20 minutes ago. And so the load board is kind of loading up more work as we speak, which is a good thing. It is that time of year. It's the time where, you know, if you've been contemplating getting in with Amazon, right now is where you could probably get in, hit the ground running, and work for the next few months. So, do something a little different just to give you guys I'm not going to dwell too much on Amazon because I do want to show a couple of other things. So that's anywhere to anywhere. Let's do price per distance highest. These are California. That's in Texas, $107 a mile. You know, if they can get you unloaded in the time they say, maybe. There's 93 a mile, so in 2 hours, they say, you know, $300. And so, I mean, that's decent money for not going very far. Well, and so as I'm looking at this one, you're going to spend more than 2 hours just waiting to get unloaded at MEM1. So there's no way you're going to make that in that amount of time. Anyway, and so let's filter this the way I used to filter them when I was running trucks with them. So I ran the 53-foot and as you can see, they now got the reefers and the containers. And then I'd go for no less than $1,000. That's just to isolate, you know, the stuff that pays high dollar per mile, but it's only 10 miles. And so, you know, Brooklyn, New York, I've never been there, so I'm not going to pretend that I know what it's like going there. I know there's tolls to get in and out of there. I don't think I'd send one of my drivers there because they'd probably quit. I imagine it's stressful to drive a 53-footer that way. But I could be wrong. And it's, you know, it's well paid. And so here's, you know, another one to New York at $566 per mile. There's one leaving New York at $557 per mile. There's one going to Vegas at $546 a mile. There's one going to Indiana for $539 a mile. There's a couple team loads. Anyway, and so I just kind of wanted to show this kind of stuff real quick. I mean, it's Amazon's time of year, right? It's looking better on the load board. Not everything is buried. Not everything is buried in the post-a truck. And so, for fun, I wanted to kind of show. I don't subscribe to this is DAT, or DAT as some people call it. I don't pay for the subscription here. I did at one point, and then when I hired a dispatch service, you know, they already pay for all this, so why should I? But just to give you guys an idea of, you know, the market's definitely, the market is better right now. I know several people that were running Amazon that have switched over to these types of loads because it's much more revenue. So here you have Irwindale to Massachusetts, $11,000. Rancho Dominguez to Maryland for $10,700. One going from Carson to Jamaica, New York for $10,500. San Bernardino to Middletown, Pennsylvania for $10,000. There's a load going to Alabama for $10,000, and it's only a 14,000-pound load. That's a pretty darn good rate. Another load to Jamaica for $10,000. There's something going to New York for $9,900. There's a load going to Queens for $9,800. Jersey for $9,700. Excuse me. A Florida load for $9,700. And so as you can see, there's big ticket loads. Okay? Just throwing it out there for those that, are contemplating getting into the trucking business altogether. Yeah, some of these some of these brokers aren't going to work with new carriers, and that's why a lot of people start with Amazon, because Amazon will take you right away, and while your authority matures, you can get into a better position where you can start taking some of these. And so I also wanted to show another load board. It's free. This is called Truck Smart. Not going to try and take all the credit for this. I actually saw or was told about this on a video. Vic Med, I subscribe to him. He's a local carrier out of the LA market, and he shared a code. And if anyone's interested in getting this, it's free. I'll go ahead and share the code here. That's the number 662805. And basically what it does is when you go to apply, it's like most other load boards. You enter your authority number, you enter your information, and if you put this code here, according to them, they'll push you to the front of the line to get you access, versus, it may take a little longer. How true is that? How long will it take? I don't know. I can't testify to it one way or the other. So the cool thing about this load board is it has several of the larger brokers, and as you look at these, some of you might say, oh yeah, those are all low price leaders, why would I even want to work with them? They're not all bad, and it's just one more resource, and it's free. And so if we click on the filters, you can kind of select how you want it sorted. Me, I kind of always look at rate per mile first, and then down here we can say our price. And so I have it anywhere to anywhere. So let's just say I want to make $5,000, and everyone says their magic number is $3 per mile. Let's just say 5, just for the sake of finding something better, right? Nothing may come up, who knows? And so here we have $5,300 from Ontario to Aurora, Colorado. Well, yeah, that makes sense because you won't find anything leaving. So the loads going to Colorado are the ones paying $500 with a minimum of $5,000. All right, so me personally, I don't like going up there. I wouldn't go up there. And so if we lower our rate per mile to 3, that's what people seem to think is the magic number. I don't know, but I'm just kind of demonstrating how it works, guys. So here we have Vernon to Omaha, Nebraska, $387 a mile, $6,000 with Coyote. There we have $384 from Compton to South Dakota. There's a Commerce load at $356. There's an XPO from San Diego to Katy, Texas, $355 a mile. I do have like a criticism for this particular application. I kind of wish it would show you the weight. So just for fun, if we say we're going to compare, do I want to go to Katy, Texas or to Cedar Falls, you know, when you look at the rate per mile, they're similar, but you know, depending on where you're going and how heavy you are, you know, if you're going to Colorado and you're grossing 77,000 versus if you're going to Texas and you're grossing 57,000, you know, there's a big difference there in your cost, in your fuel cost, right? So there's $342 a mile going to Pennsylvania. There's $341 a mile going out to Tennessee. You know, $6,000 isn't bad to Tennessee. I think I got a little bit better than that last go round. I've never heard of this company. I've never done work with them, but this is kind of how it works. It shows you on a map, kind of shows you what it is. It's a heavy load. It's 43,000 pounds. I kind of wish they would show that, you know, on the previous. I wish they would show that here. Anyway, so it's just one other load board. I do believe it'll allow you to pick other items. I know a lot of you are interested in box truck, and so maybe we open these up more, because I just don't know. I don't know what the box truck market's like on a board like this. There's one load, $317 a mile, going from Reno to Salt Lake City, and it's a box truck load. You know, it's a lot of climbing, it's a lot of hills. I've made that drive, not in a box truck, but, you know, that's going to be a fuel consumer. But I've worked for XPO. I've never had an issue getting paid. And when you go to contact them, you can definitely ask for more. I mean, the worst thing that'll happen is they'll tell you no. But we negotiate with them all the time, even though they have like an application. Even in their application, there's the option for you to bid on it. Whoops, I didn't mean to close that. Anyway, so this is another load board, another option. The market is pretty good right now for, I'll just call it for dry transportation. So your reefers, your dry vans, and even your box trucks, you know, right now is our time. Even though we're heading into fall/winter, I know flatbeds are still doing really well. I got a buddy whose flatbed truck is doing between 12 and 14 grand a week. That's decent money for a flatbed. That's really decent money. But that's going to slow here as we get closer to Christmas. And we all know, you know, the dry vans, the reefers, and, you know, even the box trucks, that's when we're going to be busy. Anyways, I just want to share this real quick. I actually got a rack out here, guys, because I got an early start. Got a drop to make tomorrow. I have an open window for delivery, but I want to try and get offloaded and grab another load leaving, instead of having to sit around till Monday. But as always, thanks for watching.